Good morning, everyone. It is a very warm Friday morning here in North Georgia, and I'm getting ready to walk around and see what all I can turn up. I'm gonna flip a little bit of tin and hit some creeks for salamanders too, but it feels very snaky out here. I really would not be shocked if we find some stuff basking today. Honestly, it feels a lot better than it did yesterday, even though I'm actually in North Georgia today, and yesterday we were in South Central Alabama. So yeah, just the air feels right today. It feels a little bit more humid, so I don't have crazy expectations, but I think we're gonna see some snakes today. So I'm gonna get after it and I will update you guys as things happen. All right, first piece of tin. It's definitely nice and warm, but I do not see anybody under there. Oh, water snake. Nice. Came up out of this ant burrow, I am assuming. First snake of the day. And he went down that ant burrow because it's almost as if fossorial snakes use ant hills to brumate. So when you move tin off of ant hills, you're destroying habitat. And here is our next snake of the day. Nice looking little brown snake. This guy's actually got some pretty good reddish coloration on him. There were also two ground skinks under here, but they dipped. Yeah, second snake of the day. Stuff is definitely out. We've been seeing these guys pretty regularly now that we're getting into early spring, so I'm not gonna mess with him too much. I'm just gonna gently lower his piece back down. Oh, another brown. Look at that. Very nice. Let's see if I can lift this. There's nobody down there at the bottom though. All right, buddy, back you go. That's actually a fairly big brown snake. The wind is picking up a little, but there's a nice green knoll sitting right there basking, soaking up the sun. And the snakes that are under cover are nice and warm, so hopefully that means stuff will be tempted to come out and bask, and maybe we can turn up a rattlesnake. This piece is right in the dappled light, and sure enough, there is our first smooth earth snake of the year. Very nice. Can't believe we haven't seen a ringneck today. It's really weird. There's an knoll down there way at the end. All right, we're gonna flip around this seep real quick and see if we can turn up a spring salamander since we haven't seen one in a minute. Oh, a dusky. Very covered in rust. There's another one right there. These are spotted duskies. Generally the most common salamander in this habitat, but we do get seal salamanders here too. Let me try to flip this tire on camera. Oh, two lines and a dusky. No springs though. All right guys, well we've been out here for a while now, and really we've seen a decent number of snakes, but there just doesn't seem to be much out basking yet again. And I think it might be because of the wind, which there isn't much wind right now, but there was definitely a steady breeze earlier. And on top of that, it's just harder to find snakes in this habitat than some of the other places we go. So it's not the end of the world, but would have been nice to see something a little bigger or something out basking today. But hey, we found some snakes and a couple of salamanders. Wasn't able to turn up a spring. I think that's probably due to how dry it's been. All right, guys, I'm making my way back to the car now. Tomorrow is definitely gonna be the warmest day this week, so hopefully we'll see more tomorrow than we did today. I'm definitely gonna go to an area that's a little bit more reliable this time of year, so yeah, if I don't see anything between here and the car, I will check in with you guys in the morning. Good morning, everyone. Starting out the day with this nice looking thrush here we're taking pictures of. He let us get super close to him. But then we're gonna go look for snakes. It's nice and cool right now, but it's supposed to warm up to the mid-70s today. And it should be another pretty good day in the field. So we're gonna get some photos of this thrush, and then we're gonna get to hiking. And hopefully we'll be turning up some snakes shortly. All right, guys, so way over there, tucked down in the bush, you can barely see him. We'll try to get a better angle here in a second. But there's our first snake of the day, and it's a cottonmouth. All right, you can see him a little better from this angle, and you can tell that it's definitely a cottonmouth. I expect we might be seeing a couple more of those today, so we're definitely not gonna mess with this guy at all. get a quick shot, and then we're gonna keep walking. And there is our next snake of the day. That is a banded water snake, just starting to come out of his hole and crawl towards the sun to bask. I think that might be the first banded water we've seen this year. We've seen some midlands, but I don't think we've seen any banded yet. All right, I think we're just gonna leave that guy right there. He looks like he's gonna crawl over there and sit in the sun, so hopefully we'll pass back by later and he'll be in a better spot to look at. But nice looking banded water snake. He's a little bit muddy from coming out from underground, but I think that would be a good looking snake if he was washed up a little bit. So yeah, second snake of the day. We're gonna keep at it. It's still pretty early. We have only been here maybe an hour at this point, and we're already in 2 snakes, so not too bad. Look at that. Little piece of a rat snake hanging out right there. So I was flipping all this bark on the ground. I flipped all of this and I was working my way up, and I flipped that piece there and looked up, and like an inch from my fingers is that little coil of rat snake hanging out right there. I don't think we need to mess with that guy. It's definitely a rat snake. You can't see too much of him, but hopefully there's going to be plenty more snakes coming as it starts to warm up. It was kind of a slow start this morning. The overnight was a little bit colder than is ideal, but it's starting to feel really good out here now, so we're gonna keep at it, see what else we can turn up. One closer look at this guy real quick. And then we're just gonna leave him right there. Check this out, this little piece of bark here. A big green tree frog. Look at that guy. Very nice. Really good looking, good sized green tree frog. So I can't see it terribly well from here, but there is a king snake right there. I'm not sure if it's the same one as last time or not. I'm gonna wait for Richard to catch up, and we're gonna go over there and see. It's near where the last one was, but it's in a different area, so it could have just moved a little bit, or it could be a completely different snake. We're gonna find out. So this snake is the same size as the one we saw last time, but it looks like it's deeper in shed. I guess it could just be starting to go into its spring shed cycle. But yeah, nice king snake is our next snake of the day. Second king snake encounter of the year. I'm gonna take some good pictures of this guy, and then we'll compare photos and see if it is the same snake or not. So I compared photos, and this is definitely the same snake. Last time we saw him, last week, he was over there by that stump. So this time of year is when things kind of start to disperse a little bit from their den sites. They never move too far from structure until later in the spring, like mid-April. But they'll start to venture out a little bit and take feeding opportunities, etc., to try to get the year started. Because as soon as we start getting warm days, most things are going to start breeding, and that's going to be right around the corner at this point. So very nice. Eastern king snake is our next snake of the day. We're going to keep at it. Here's a nice eastern fence lizard. We saw one of these last episode too, but they're only going to start to become more and more common as it warms up. This guy is just absolutely chilling right here though. It's that temperature where it's just warm enough for stuff to be coming out, but not quite warm enough for stuff to be skittish yet. So should be a pretty good hour or two we're about to have here, hopefully. Here's another fence lizard, just chilling out, enjoying the nice warm weather today. And on a normal warm day, these guys would be scurrying everywhere, but it's kind of like in the mid 60s, high 60s right now, maybe as warm as 70, but the sun is in and out, and it got really cold last night, so everything is still starting to warm up, even though it's pretty much the heat of the day at this point. All right, guys, here's our next snake of the day. Just found this guy in this dead tree, just like the rat snakes in the last episode. These guys love to hang out around dead trees this time of year. Really, any time of year, you have a good chance of seeing a rat snake around stuff like this, because that's where all the rodents nest. Whenever you're in at least a kind of wooded ecosystem like this. But yeah, nice healthy little juvenile rat snake. It's our next snake of the day. All right, buddy, there you go. Whoop. So right there is my first copperhead of the year Richard just found. Just hanging out in this dead stump. That's awesome. So this guy is from last fall, and he's still got that tiny little yellow tail. Really just a striking snake to look at. And as you can see, they do climb up in the bushes and in the trees a little bit, especially when they're younger, because that's where all the little lizards are. So this guy is probably back here caught alluring, hoping to catch a lizard as his first meal of the year. what a fantastic looking little snake. Definitely the highlight of the day so far. The king snake was awesome, but it was a recapture. This is a new snake for me. This was actually one of the big things I was hoping to see today, so that is a big score for us. We're just gonna leave that guy right there and we're gonna keep hiking. Snakes are out in good numbers. And this habitat is fantastic, so we're gonna keep working it and see what else we can find. These guys are everywhere today. I've seen a ton of these guys just out hanging out around the logs and stump holes. Seems like a big emergence day for those guys as well. Here is yet another copperhead under bark right here, a couple of stumps away from the first one. So that second copperhead went down a hole right after I flipped him, so I only got that little clip before he escaped, but that's fine. We got a good look at the first one, and hopefully we'll be able to turn up another one. There's a lot of baby copperheads in this little area, so we're gonna keep poking around and see what else we can find. All right, guys, it's starting to get a little bit late, but it still feels good, and we're gonna start making our way towards the cars, but we've got about another hour or so of really good weather, and hopefully we'll be able to finish strong today. But we've got some of the best habitat here ahead of us still, so we're gonna walk this stuff. I just saw a rat snake that went in a hole. I think it was one of the same ones we saw last week that went in a hole. Was barely sticking his head out. This guy's here again. He's not sitting in as good of a spot. That's definitely the same little rat we saw last week. Very nice. Lots of repeats today and lots of new faces. Good stuff. All right, here's our first snake of the day again here at the end of the day. Nice cottonmouth. He's turned a little bit and you can actually see his face now, but surprisingly still the only cottonmouth we've seen today. But we're just gonna leave him right there. All right, everyone, I made it home before dark just in time to see the sunset. It was a beautiful day. We didn't see anything too crazy, but I was definitely really excited to see our first copperheads of the year. All around a really successful day in the field. I think we saw an even 10 snakes. I don't know how many of those actually ended up in the video because I know a couple of them got away before we could voucher them. But all around, it was a great day. So I'm gonna wrap this one up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. And there's plenty more warm weather coming our way next week. So I plan to get out as much as I can over the next week or so, and hopefully we will have at least 2 videos coming your way next week too. So I will see you guys then.